where I wanted to do something and I thought about how long it would take and I just didn't do it. But then you realize whether you do it or not, time is gonna pass anyway. Why do we as people always tend to want to try to rush the process? I think, it kind of started when we were younger and we just wanted to grow up so fast. Not me though. I was never one of those people that wanted to grow up fast. When people told me that being an adult was hard, I believed them. I tried, my hardest to, be a kid when it was time to be a kid, but I still had my moments. Being in being in high school and being a sophomore, junior in high school, and all the girls that I liked were dating grown adults with cars and their own crib, and I'm just like, I can't compete with these guys. Like I'm 15, 16 years old. I don't have a car. I don't have my own apartment. Like, how am I supposed to get these girls? You know what I'm saying? But I think that that's kind of where it started, where you see people with more, right? And you're like, forget everything that comes between, right? I just need to get to point Z, right? Start at A, forget everything in the middle, and just end up at Z. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I need to get there. And that is problem number one, is we have to stop comparing. Comparison is the thief of joy, is what they say. And one problem that I see in a lot of people is they see these people with all this money, all this success, and because they're scrolling on TikTok and Instagram all day, right, and seeing and not realizing that Instagram is only the highlights, right? Nobody posts their lowlights on Instagram. Nobody's gonna post that they can't make rent this month. Nobody's gonna post that their car just got impounded and they can't get it out. Nobody's gonna post that. They're only gonna post when they're up. So that's one thing that people have to realize. But also, you never saw the people that were struggling and grinding from the beginning. They don't show that part, right? You didn't see that part. You didn't see all the steps in the middle that took them to where they are now, right? And so that's why you have to stop comparing yourself to others. Because yes, while you see all the big houses and high-rise apartments and fancy cars, you didn't see all the work that they put in to get there. And I think that's what gets kind of missed of you trying to get from A to Z without knowing what's in between, is because you only see the Z out of the successful people. You don't see the B through Y, right? I'm a victim of this though. I'm still a victim of this, right? I did a video on how, me wanting, not being happy because even though I have everything that I want, right, I kept feeling like it wasn't enough and I needed more, instead of, living in the moment and being appreciative of what I worked so hard to get to, and that it's just a stepping stone to get to where I want to end up at. There was a time, where, I was still in school at the time, but I was working retail, right? Working retail, and there would be people that would be asking me what do I do, and I would be always just so embarrassed to tell them that I'm 23, 24 years old working in retail. Now, why? I don't know. I mean, I think part of it was me thinking that at 23, 24 years old, I'm supposed to be, way further along, right? I mean, my parents got married at 23 years old, right? I'm 28 right now. My parents had their first kid at 28, and I'm just like, I'm feeling like I'm far, far behind. You know what I mean? But that goes back to comparing. You gotta start comparing, especially, it's different times now and everything like that. But I would be embarrassed to tell them that I worked retail. I probably wouldn't say anything at all. And that's something, you shouldn't be embarrassed about where you're currently at, because it's just a stepping stone. You're not going to be there forever if you don't let yourself be there forever. It's just a stepping stone, right? You could be in high school, just trying to, fill out your resume, to show you're active, get some work experience. And even if you're older, right? You're just trying to make ends meet. You're just trying to get some money until you figure out what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, don't be embarrassed of where you're at. You know, there's always gonna be somebody in a worse position than you, right? And that's one of my things, you know, you see, it's just like, man, why am I complaining? Right? Yes, I don't have it all together right now, but there's somebody that has it a lot worse than I do. Not saying that you can't be a little down, and, you know, I think that's good, right? Because that means you care about something, right? If you're down on yourself, not too hard, right? But if you realize, like, hey, I could be doing better, that's good, because that means you care. And if you care, that means you're going to work harder to get to where, you want to go. But don't be too down on yourself, because there's always somebody that's in a worse position than you. But not rushing the process is important, because, it helps you, take the time to let things unfold naturally. It can lead to a more authentic, and sustainable outcomes. Rushing through the process, it could make you overlook important details, or missing valuable opportunities for growth and development, right? Like, skipping steps, looking back, all the things that happened to me, like, I know it happened for a reason, because it helped turn me into the person I am today. And some of the stuff that happened that had me down super bad, if it never happened, I wouldn't know what kind of man I am. I wouldn't know if I'm able to fold under, if I'm able to, like, am I going to fold under pressure, or I'm going to rise above the pressure, right? I would never know if I didn't go through those hardships. But now I know the type of man I am, because I went through those hardships, and I know that no matter what happens, I know I can end up on top. Going through some of those things, right? Maybe it's just a little push to push you in the right direction. Get pushed in this direction to let you know, like, all right, boom, this is what I got to do to pivot to come back to the way that I want to go. I just kind of want to use this as a reminder to just trust your journey. Don't hastily push, for better results before you're ready. I was supposed to go to college up in the Bay Area out of high school, and my mom felt like I wasn't ready to go. She encouraged me to stay home, and go to school down here in LA. And at the time, like, I just didn't get it. Like, I'm like, I need to get out the house. I need to experience new things, this, that, and the third. And, now that I look back at it, and it's just like, I think that was the best decision for me, I didn't see it then. I didn't see it. But looking back, I can see that I wasn't ready, based off of the actions that was going on while I was in college here at home. I can only imagine what it would be like if I was 400 miles away from home. You know what I mean? Embrace the mindset. You can maintain clarity, focus on quality over speed, making sure it's getting done right, and you're not doing it just to do it. Learn something from it. That's something my dad always taught me. I mean, like, in school, and I wish I would have listened. It would have saved me so much time. When you're in school or you're learning something new, make sure you're learning to understand. Don't just do it just to pass and get by, because you're going to end up using it. And not rushing the process, while rushing the process, all that does is bring you stress. Because while you're rushing the process, you're not getting all the details you need, you're not getting the certain growth you need, and it's not going to really end up how you want it to end up. And that's just going to stress you even more. And it's going to suck, because you go through all of that just to get to the end and not be where you want to go, to realizing, like, you have to start over, right? And you don't want to do that, right? So just make sure you do it right the first time. But yeah, man, just enjoy the ride. Like, I know it's hard. I know life is hard, and it's only getting harder. We all want to be rich. We all have goals that we want to accomplish. But you're not going to get there without taking the necessary steps. There was this course that I needed for this position that I'm in now. you know, and I was like, I never wanted to take it because of how long the course was. And this last year, I finally had the mentality, you know, because it's happened so many times where I wanted to do something and I thought about how long it would take and I just didn't do it. But then you realize whether you do it or not, time is gonna pass anyway. So why not just do it? If something takes 6 months and you're like, man, that's too long. Lord willing, if you stay alive, the 6 months is gonna pass and you're gonna look back and say, man, I could have been done by now. I think about that with school all the time. You know, my mom wanted me to go back to school and get my master's degree, and I'm like, I don't want to go back to school for another 2 years. Guess what? In June, it'll be 2 years since I graduated. I could have had my master's this year if I would have just went what my mom told me to. You know? So the time's gonna pass regardless. So just do it. If it's something that you feel like you really, really want to do, don't waste time. But if you have the same experience or any extra thoughts or any advice, drop them in the comments. I'd love to, you know, be able to help other people out. You know, that's the goal. If I can just help one person, then I've done my job. But thank y'all for tapping in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell, do all that. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video.